Good morning, everyone. This is the Futures in 5, running a bit behind today, mostly because I did this recording with the mute on. All right, so here we go. Watching for price action here. I believe this was a Fed Powell squeeze. Um, Fed chair a bit dovish. That brought the dollar down. It pushed the markets up about interest rates staying steady. And of course, if interest rates stay steady and they don't rise, we'll be able to borrow at these limited uh, cheap rates, as they still are quite cheap. And that sent the market up into a space. I think it's a squeeze. We're up into resistance until we break out and up over here. We don't have a confirmation of higher moves upward. However, slope is up, momentum is up. That means as we pull back, we're going to see buyers. You got to look for failed retests here for this chart to show downside pressure. Otherwise, you just want to wait for it to come into support and then give it a go. All right. Where are we going to see support? Anywhere near price rejection. Where will we see price rejection? Thin pockets of volume. And we've got a lot of them. If we don't reject this price, we will slide right down through it. All right. So you want to be kind of careful today, as you should be every day. Here we are taking a look at the NQ, same sort of thing, building volume up here in a new area of price acceptance, holding the zones, the 60, 68, 60 area. You can see where they're punching price action up through the space. Slope is still up, momentum is still up. This chart says, you know what, my pullbacks are going to be buy zones. If, however, I keep making lower highs, that's eventually going to be a problem. Lower highs means that sellers are on the advance. And if sellers are on the advance, they're going to squeeze the buyers into a pocket. And either the buyers come up with much more pressure or they collapse and they move through the volume pocket. That's what we're looking at. Here with the YM, same sort of thing, holding it fairly strong, thin auctioning here, thin auctioning here, that built in over here. What do we want to look at? Slope, momentum, both of them up, pullbacks or buy zones. Which pullback do I want to bet? You want to get the one that's got the most congestion on it, which was right about here at 25 to 40-ish, 25 to 50. Now it's up here into the space. Who's up here? That would be sellers. We've had lower highs except for this bar, and now all of a sudden it's tested higher, but it's not breached the high. Breakout areas will not occur until above 25,386. The chances of selling occurring here become higher the longer we sit here after making these lower lows in this space. Taking a look at oil, oil is trying to bounce. It's a mess. OPEC meeting on the horizon. We've got an oil glut that's epic. And, you know, I'm still thinking we ought to form a bottom here, but the market keeps telling me, no, that's not true. So what do we do? Well, what's the slope? It's downward. What's the slope here? It's upward, but what's its location? Its location is downward. So I know all my bounces are into resistance. And so I'm going to look for selling opportunities here and make sure that they're as high up as I can get it with my risk clearly defined. Chart really needs to get up over 52.20 and stay there in order to have bullish action. Right now, sellers all over the place in these formations. We've got to get up and over this zone to do anything. Otherwise, all we're doing is moving in a very, very choppy space. Lastly, we'll take a look at gold. Gold did move over into the next contract. We are looking at bounce action. What's the real slope here? Well, if I look at the near term, it's upward, just this edge right here, which is what you want to think about from um, a intraday perspective, right? It's still upward, but where is my SMI? Well, my SMI is below zero, but it's moving up. And so what it tells me is my pullbacks are going to be buy zones. I don't need to buy a breakout here, right? It's at resistance. This is a thin volume area. And so the fade action should be what it is that we end up seeing on the horizon. You can see the fade into support. Where are buyers going to first pop in? 1226.70. Can you take a long there? Well, sure, absolutely. You can take a long there. What's your stop under that support? 1225. You need to give yourself a little bit of room so somebody just doesn't come in and take you out. 20 ticks ought to be fine in that space. A lot of us have our stops too tight and die death by 1,000 cuts. So you want to be careful about that. Good luck trading. This has been the Futures in 5.